I am Kesten Rono, and you are here for day 4 of our exploration of A Course in Miracles. I wanted to start by reviewing the principles of miracles that we've been sitting with so far. First, we learned that there is no order of difficulty to miracles, that one cannot be bigger or harder than another. And we followed up with the line that all expressions of love are maximal. Obviously, right away, we're finding some link between miracles and love. And on day 2, we learned that the miracle itself does not matter. And instead, what matters is their source. In this book, capital S, source. We were suspecting that miracles being connected to love, that all love is expressed maximally, that miracles are therefore originating from a loving source. And yesterday, we learned that miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. Love here being a foundational principle of the universe, of miracles, if such things are to exist for you and for me. So please relax your mind and open to feeling. We're here to invite more abundance, truth, and love into our life as we explore the next concepts of miracles. Let's begin. Principle 4. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. Here, giver and voice are both capitalized. So miracles being manifestations of love, love being what inspires miracles, and miracles meaning life. The real miracle is the love that inspires life. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. How open are you with your intuition? How easily do you find that you accept how you feel? Are you in a space in your life where certain feelings are too daunting to feel? Whether that be the confusion or shame of the past, or even the intensity of some kind of connection with God. I think here in our practice that we're sharing together, we can invite ourselves to feel more, to feel what it is like to be alive, to be grateful for what it is like to be alive, to be conscious, and allow ourselves to settle inside of the love that we have for ourselves, for being here for each other, the love that we believe is possible, that I believe we are all looking for. Thank you for being here, participating in this quest of love through a variety of experiences. I'd like to offer the proposal that from wherever we are to wherever the source of miracles in its depth of love, perhaps that willingness to accept that perspective that such a place exists, and therefore that any version of love that we see around us in life, we accept that that version of love is being expressed maximally. that love inspires miracles and that miracles mean life. We are alive and we're participating in some kind of miraculous process where we discover love. And today we're being invited to take our hands off of the wheel and come out of our own minds. If you are in touch with your intuition and with your feeling, or your prayer, your own reflection, perhaps you've felt a sense of calm or even messaging. We are creatures of energy. We're vibrating with life. There's energy all around us. And it's not a very far out idea to realize that all of this energy is signaling something, that we can intuit our environment, or we can feel calm in one area or stressed in another, that we're being communicated with on an energetic level by everything and everyone that's around us. Regardless of how you feel about the word God, perhaps you're willing to accept that God is in all things, and that love, or the message of a miracle to enhance our life, can arrive from anywhere. So if we can open our mind and hearts to the idea that God's voice through love can speak to us, then we at least give ourselves the opportunity to feel alive and feel the miracle of love. You will be told all you need to know. All right, moving on to lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Now we're being asked to consider beyond the items, the things that we were focusing on as we move throughout our day. We're turning inward. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. In these practice periods, begin with noting the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts you think are bad. You will find, if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, that they represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. This is why they do not mean anything. In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. None of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. Interesting. With specificity, we can enter into this exercise without fear that we can use good or bad thoughts, however we are relating to them. And none of these represents our real thoughts, which are being covered up by our framing of these good or bad thoughts. The good ones are but shadows of what lies beyond, and shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You do not want either. The good ones are but shadows of what lies beyond, and shadows make sight difficult. Here I'm hearing the echoes of abundance in the unknown, that focusing on our good thoughts, labeling them as such, are simply shadows of what lies beyond. And shadows make sight difficult. Here we want to see. The bad ones are blocks to the sight and make seeing impossible. We do not want either. This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps toward the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside you. It is the first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside of you and the meaningful within. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize what is the same and what is different. In using your thoughts for application of the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, this thought about blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room, on this street, and so on. Identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. This thought about blank does not mean anything. This thought about everything going into these recordings and what we might discover does not mean anything. You can also use the idea for a particular thought that you recognize as harmful. This practice is useful, but is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. Further, since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with the thoughts particularly difficult. Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later. Okay. Today we are being asked to focus on our thoughts. Today we're being asked to allow whatever thoughts arise to arise within a 1-minute period. And today we are allowing ourselves to accept what we believe to be good or bad thoughts. We're told that none of them is the real thought, that our good thoughts are shadows of what lies beyond, and bad thoughts are blocks, making sight impossible. We are here to train ourselves in the first steps towards the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside you and the meaningful within. Okay. Let's take 1 minute together and allow ourselves to notice our thoughts. Please close your eyes if you can, and if not, settle and see what you find. We're not searching. And bringing ourselves back together, we're going to try with specificity the exercise of saying, this thought about blank does not mean anything. I'll try one. This thought about my bills does not mean anything. This thought about my relationship does not mean anything. This thought about relaxation does not mean anything. This thought about stillness does not mean anything. And finally, for me, this thought about curiosity of the future and what it may hold and how I may arrive there does not mean anything. Okay. Your exercise today is 3 or 4 times, triple or double what we've tried in the previous days, is to gather your thoughts for 1 minute and 1 minute only, regardless of whether or not you view them as good or bad. Identify the thought, the central figure or event it contains, and say to yourself out loud if you dare, this thought about blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room. And with that, we will bring ourselves from the material items around us into our world within. And we will be reminded, according to Principle 4, that with our specificity, we may be guided, directed very specifically by God's voice. So please allow yourself to reflect, identify your thoughts as meaningless, and let God's voice spring forth from love through miracles into life. I am Kesten Rono, and I'm wishing you a discovery of abundance, truth, and love in your life. Thank you so much for being here and practicing with me. May we continue to unfold ourselves so we may see ourselves more clearly. Until tomorrow, be well, and thanks for being here.